Wait, what's going on? Is it live? Excellent! Let me unmute it. Maybe that'll help. What? Okay. Boom. I need to shrink this down a little. No, that's probably good. Am I missing anything? Audio. That looks good. Let me refresh. I just need confirmation. Wait. I just need confirmation. Okay, yep, that's me. Good. Alright, let me run the ad. Let me get water and we'll be right back. Hold on. I'm getting some water. That's what Shantae said. Woohoo! That's what she said. Let me get my phone charger because my phone's about dead. Okay. Yonkadong. Let's get the lights going. Wait, which ones are these ones? Oh. Ah! There we go. That seems a lot better. How much time's left? Timer. 46 seconds. Let's go ahead and flip this. Then I'll hide it. Oh, I got the transition. Boom. There, now it's gone. Wait, there's no sonic transparency. What's going on? There we go. Look, everyone. Sonic the Hedgehog. Man, remember when we used to do Sonic Says? Weren't those the days? Those days were so good. Just a little bit. Oh, now you're seeing my mic. I don't know. Can I fix that? I don't think I can. Realistically. Unless I completely adjust my setup. It's probably really loud. Alright, well, you're going to be able to see the mic today. adjustment. Wow, this is super tight, actually. Yeah. All right, my team lost. Okay. All right. I think we're done. Right? Yeah. All right, so here's what's up. I went out, I saw that movie. Which movie? Good question. What's it called? Ant-Man Quantumania? Is that what it's called? I don't know. All right, there. That's just gonna have to be good enough. Sweet movie, awesome, cool, whatever. But it made me realize, wow, this is the end of an era. It's the end of Phase 4 or whatever they're calling it. It's weird because Phase 4 hasn't technically started because nothing has happened yet. Anyway, it made me go, I need to do my March Madness poll because it's March. But then I thought, I don't want to do the March Madness poll because my streaming is so inconsistent that no one, it's never going to get finished. Even if, I guess maybe if it's like a 8-person bracket, single elimination, we could get it done by July. But it's not. Anyway, so what we're doing is we're bringing this in. It's Marvel time. Hit it, Johnny. No, wrong one. Yeah. How's this audio? How's this audio? How's this audio? How's this audio? Wow. Wow. Yeah, I do need to adjust that. Oh, wait. Let's leave that alone? Stop! Play the Marvel song again. Yeah, I think that's what this is about where we need, right? Sweet. Now we got our awesome Marvel music going, and I'm just gonna do a tier list of this because it's on my mind. And I think now that we're in between phases and I've seen all the movies, I think it's a good time to do everything. So, how are the tiers gonna work? Good question. Do I just type it? Oh, I do. All right. It also doesn't help that I've seen a lot of Joe Biden and Donald Trump tier lists in the last week. So I'm kind of tier listed on the brain. There we go. So we're going to have an S tier. Superhero. And we're just gonna put super. A tier for awesome. Oh, I should have actually thought of cool names for this. Butterball. Because it's like turkey. Oh, that's a dumb one. What's like a word for... Oh, yeah, here's what we're doing. We're going to call it bad. Now, is it bad as in low quality or bad as in, like, Michael Jackson, who's bad? You're the ones you're going to have to decide. Can't stop. Won't stop. No. Oh, who's a really strong character in Marvel vs. Capcom? Start to see. Is there anybody? Sentinel. Sentinel. It's so dumb. Meh is ABC D. Um, Duck. Howard. What's F? It is... What would F be? Fast pass to the end. Yeah. And this is gonna be it. I don't know. This could be like a fun 10-minute thing. This could go on for an hour. I don't know. I have a feeling it's gonna be really bad in general. So I'm actually not that opinionated the more I look at this. I'd say that, I mean, I'm the most opinionated I'm going to be ever right now. But yeah, I don't know that it's going to get better. So let's just get started. And yeah, we are going to order this stuff, but it's going to be a work in progress. First movie, Iron Man. Where is this going to go? I'm going to put it awesome for right now. So here's the thing about Iron Man 1. It's really good. The end. No, Iron Man is kind of a miracle once you actually break everything down. You need to remember, like, before Iron Man, you had The Dark Knight, which is like super gritty, realistic, actual court system, yada yada yada. And then you had like Daredevil and Batman and Robin and Elektra. And like Fantastic Four. I guess X-Men was kind of good. This is kind of it's like X-Men, but it's a little more funny, a little more technical, a little more grounded, because you have to remember the 10 Rings, like the whole going over to Afghanistan, that was so fresh in everyone's mind because we were actively with war and whatnot. And I remember seeing all that stuff and was like, oh my gosh, he's been kidnapped. Iron Man's in trouble. Well, it wasn't Iron Man. Tony Stark's in trouble. What's he gonna do? This is like the worst thing that could happen. And then it all progresses very logically. You do have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but alright, make this giant armor thing which can get you out, 2 miles away, which is gonna give you enough lead time that you can be found. Once you're found, you get back home and you're able to make the arc reactor, yada yada yada. It's not that unbelievable. Kind of the metal and the heart thing is, kind of whatever, but hey, that's good. Actually, I'm going to put it up here in the S, because we can adjust all this stuff later. And I think we will once everything's done. But it really set a lot of the tone and kind of that balance you want to go for, where things need to be grounded. You can have a character that's funny, but it's not because they're trying to be funny. It's just, I'm in this situation because I have character. It's unique and interesting and exciting. Villain is a little lame. Kind of a cop-out ending to everything. But I think it's fine. You know what I mean? Because the whole lot of the movie, it's about Tony Stark's internal struggle to grow and whatever. It's not really... yeah. I'm going to leave it up here for now. We can always change it. But it's not so much about him fighting someone else that's stronger, especially when Warmonger is supposed to be this just Iron Man, but he has even less experience and doesn't know the technical side or whatever. It doesn't have a Friday or a Jarvis or whatever. So anyway, that's where we're gonna put that. What was the next one? Was it Hulk? Yeah. So fun story about this one. I didn't see this movie until like years later. I got it on DVD like for Christmas, and I was at college and I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this movie. I didn't want to watch it, and it was like, oh yeah, Iron Man's in it. Like, what? What are you talking about? I guess this was probably 2011. I didn't really know that there was going to be an Avengers movie. I knew that Marvel was like making this stand, like every movie is important and it's going to be kind of one connected story. I didn't know that they're going to all be together. Didn't know heroes are going to be together at all. Saw it, and the end result that I left watching it was Oh my gosh. Why is Iron Man there? This is wild. What? That's crazy. But that was kind of the biggest thing. I guess shout-outs to Stanley drinking disgusting green-blooded soda. It's always awesome. But not a lot really stands out about it. Edward Norton kind of has that cool Zen mode going on, which actually does kind of fit. Doesn't work as well with the scientisty aspect, but you believe that he has kind of that rage, whatever thing going on. I don't know. I'm gonna put it here in D tier, just because it left so little impact, and I'm not really sure why. It's not like it doesn't do anything bad. There's nothing evil, nothing unfunny, nothing uninteresting about it. It just never grabs you. It's just a bunch of, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. It's either high D tier or low C tier. I'm not really sure. Next was Iron Man 2. Oh, did I do the wrong one? Oh, I did. Never mind. Boom. Iron Man 2. This is like a C movie, right? It clearly was written just to get another movie out there. Because Iron Man 1 was such a big deal. Get it out there. We'll introduce Black Widow a little bit of S.H.I.E.L.D., Bill Coulson. And yeah, really good. There's like three things that actually stick out from the movie. First one is Tony's character is totally dumb. They kind of ruin him. They make Tony this drunk that just kind of gives up, and oh, the after party starts now. Cool. You get your after party. But some of the decisions, like let's make Pepper Potts CEO when she's a secretary, doesn't make sense. Part number 2, Justin Hammer, A tier villain. Is his name Norman Rockwell? Wait, what's his name? I'm gonna look this up. Hold on. I think it's Sam something. Yeah, Sam Rockwell. He's so good in that role. Let's do the dance. Awesome. You get like the War Machine, so there's kind of this dueling faction. You get a little bit of the interesting stuff that Marvel would eventually get into, which is kind of the legality of superheroes and how does this work exactly. Like there's a scene where they show North Korea trying to throw an Iron Man and it explodes or something. And, it's really funny. But yeah, it's good. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's definitely better than Hulk. It leaves you with better impressions. I said there was going to be a third thing. The third thing is to swing your body. Actually, hold on. Can I do this? I thought I saw it earlier. I don't really have a third thing. Never mind. Iron Man 2, it's just solid. But doesn't put anything out there. Doesn't really push forward any of the characters. You just get a lot of I want my part and Justin Hammer dancing. Just don't get me wrong, those are great. Oh. Wait, is this going to work? Oh, baby. No! No, I don't want that. I don't think this is deliverables, send items, age frame, power options. Maybe I have to make it a window. Is that what I need? Huh, I know I've done this before. Yeah! I think I made it worse. It's just not going to work. Can I shrink this? No. Oh wait, wasn't it like control it or shift this? Filters. Shift. That's not what I wanted though. There we go. Da, da. Alright, we're doing this. Oh no! Boom, transition. There, now y'all can see my music. But yeah, I mean, it's all Marvel vs. Capcom. Okay, let's not cover what the folks are going to be saying. Wait, can I change what this says? Hold on. Oh. I didn't even know that was a setting. I like that. Hold on. Let's make it visible again. Boom. Yeah, I really wish I could just do the mini player. Actually, do I just need to add? Hold on. I think I broke it. Where's window capture? Here we go. Yeah, I don't just want to spend the whole time just troubleshooting this. I'm gonna do it for 1 minute. It's not like anyone's chatting. If anyone was here, they would chat, and then I'll know to stop this out. Minimization. Drive me crazy. Yeah, I just don't think this is going to work. Energy device manager. Yeah. This is going to be like a bigger thing. It just might actually be impossible. Someone's like jumping up and down right above me. Anyway. Oh, duh. I minimized it so you're not seeing it anymore. But there we go. I just like the mini player better because then you get all the information and it shows the icon. Actually, I wonder, can I... Oh, no! This isn't worth it. No. Just want title. QRS. Oh no, there's a T. No! There we go. Yeah, what's the next movie? What's the next movie? After Iron Man 2, which was it? It was Thor. Oh yeah, the next thing that I liked about Iron Man 2 was that it's kind of the first one that actually made you excited for the next movie, which was Thor. But the whole way that, hey, here's a how do I put this? Here's an actual tease for a movie that's going to be coming out, and it took a year. But like, oh, they're on the desert. What is this? There's like a hammer thing. What's that about? Why would there be a hammer? And that was exciting. Thor, I don't want to say admittedly, it's just kind of good all around. Loki was amazing. Kind of the first really good villain that the MCU had, and kind of the only one for a long time. And I don't know, it's played very well. Like, first time I watched it, I remember thinking, oh, this guy's a bad guy. It's not like it's that obvious or that hard. Or it's very clear that, yeah, he's going to be the bad guy. But still, even though you know that he's going to be bad, it kind of makes sense. And you're like, I'm on board. I get why he's doing it. And you're not mad. A lot of good stuff. The whole discussion about science is magic. And wait, what is the one? the word you use, magic, is a word I call science. They're one and the same or whatever. It's like, yeah, kind of that whole idea that a lot of people really seem to push apart a lot of ways. Like you watch Penn and Teller or whatever. It's like, yes, it's magic and it's cool, it's wow. But really, it's just a technology or a technique or a foolery that you just don't understand. And I think that's good. Other than that, it's fun seeing the three people. Lady Sib and the Warriors 3, they were cool. Too bad they died like really, really fast. And then Heimdall's cool. And Odin, I mean, really good casting with him. I can't even think of his name. Walken? No, it's not Walken. It's not Walken. Hannibal Lecter, whatever his real name is. But yeah, awesome. But yeah, it's gonna go in B tier. It's good. It doesn't do anything bad, and it's just kind of good everywhere. I'll have another. Again, funny, but it's not like, haha, this is funny. Aren't we being funny and clever? It's just, this is a literal Shakespearean character coming into the real world, and that's going to create unique and interesting situations. So that's pretty good. Next one, I can't find. I'm looking for Ariel. Captain America: The First Avenger. It's a World War II movie, and I think that's kind of what makes it really cool. It's like, yes, it's more poppy and actiony than a movie you would get back then, but it is kind of designed to be, well, how would a superhero movie work if it was made in the 1940s? And clearly it's still made with like design sensibilities of 2008 and 9 when it was in pre-production and whatnot. But hey, here's this guy, and I think kind of the best thing about it is you can't have a character named Captain America without just going all in and saying, well, why is he American? And be like, well, because he was made by the American Army, and they used him for like all this propaganda and stuff, and he really does believe in fighting for freedom and all this stuff, and it doesn't really matter who the enemy is, as we learn later. Even if it's America that's against freedom, he'll fight against that. And I think it just explains a lot of stuff really well. You like the cool vibranium stuff to get him like skydiving out, saving his friends. Like, he uses a gun in this. It's actually interesting. He doesn't become this superhero instantly that does these superhero things. He's still just a normal soldier that, you know, he's really strong and can fast and can resist a bunch of stuff. That's why I'm debating putting this in A. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna put it in A just so it's there. But this may go down to like a B+. We're just gonna have to see with the rest of the list. Next one, right here, Marvel's The Avengers. This is like an S tier. Watched it like 2 weeks ago, all except for the final battle because I had to go to bed. In fact, the camera's sitting on the Blu-ray right now, so I would be watching it, but instead I'm making this content. Anyway, the striking thing is when you compare it with how Marvel shifted now, which we're going to get into kind of where I think that shift happens and why it happens and whatnot. But again, Tony Stark's funny. No one else is funny. And even Tony Stark plays it totally straight. He's not really funny for the sake of being funny. It's funny because he can't take anything seriously without jokes. And he's also using it as kind of, oh, look, I'm trying to be funny, but really I'm placing decrypting devices onto a computer with my hand because I'm making a weird hand movement so you didn't see it. Oh, wow, we listened to that whole soundtrack. Here we go. Start it again. And yeah, it's just really, really awesome the way they played it. Tony's funny. Like, Thor comes in, he doesn't know what the Belschnickel or whatever, you know, creature. Or he says, like, Coulson, did you have that? No, we don't. Or Coulson's like, oh my gosh, I'm with Captain America. I really wanted to sign my Captain America trading cards. And it's stuff that a human would do. It's just amped up to like that 11 or not crank it up to 11. Like if a normal person would be at 100%, this is at like 115%. It's clearly a little above. In fact, it's going to sound really funny when I say this. It's a lot like Seinfeld. Seinfeld, the characters act exactly the way you and I wish that we had the courage to. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? In this situation, everyone goes, oh, I wish I had the courage to do it, but I'm so worried about the social stigma, I'm just going to do this. Instead, they're like, no, I'm going to find a way to have my cake and eat it too by doing this contrived thing. And that's kind of what the Avengers are. They're just like us. They just, they act on what they think they should do more often than not. Loki's such a good villain. In kind of a way that, yes, there's plenty of villains that could have like brute force defeated the Avengers, but someone who wanted to do it with style and grace and have this big performance because he thought, well, I'm going to be the ruler of Earth. I want everyone to love me and respect me, and so I want to do it in a flashy way. It kind of makes sense why he would do that, especially once you understand his character from Thor. And then such a good like action sequences. They're not overplayed. They're not crazy. Other than the battle for New York, they're all pretty subdued. I guess maybe the Iron Man and Thor one could be a little crazy, but that's only like a minute or maybe two. But it's mainly to say like, hey, look, we're two alpha dogs. Never mind, we can do a lot of damage, and we're not on the opposite side, so let's not pull away from each other. Anyway, so I like that. That was cool. It's such a good movie. All the characters are smart. They're witty. They're saying the stuff that we go, oh man, if I was in that situation and I had 5 minutes to think of every line, that's the line I would come up with every time. It just feels so good. And yeah, you could say that's Whedonism or whatever. Cool. Good for you. So good. Next one, Iron Man 3. I'm going to put right here. It's bad in it's right below Thor. This movie had a lot going for it, if you can't remember. If you weren't like actively following the movie business, which unless you're under 16 today, I can't really imagine that you wouldn't be aware of this. But Avengers came out, broke the mold for what you would expect from a big blockbuster movie. Brought in all of these universes together. And now here's a movie where, no, Iron Man's going to be alone. What's this going to do? So really kind of hard decision. And what they came up with, this idea of he's having PTSD, he's making all these Iron Man suits. And it's this logical conclusion where if you had a truly world-destroying event, potentially, and you survived it, like, yeah, you're going to have some mental issues. No, the downside is they never bring this up again, ever. I guess maybe a tiny bit in Civil War. Iron Man is just, he's frazzled and crazy, and he's not acting logically. And there comes this villain, and rather than going like, okay, well, I'm going to let, the actual army and navy and everything take care of it, I'm going to go out, and I'm just going to challenge him, make him come over to me, and I'm going to make a problem come to me. And the problem comes to him. And a few cool things. Yeah, it's nice. It's solid. But again, not a lot of character development. Not a lot of growth. So it is a little disappointing. But hey, I like it. I think it's a really good spot for it. What was the next one? It was Thor: The Dark World, that's right. This movie was, for years, like, the worst Marvel movie, and everyone knew it. This was a return to those movies that I kind of described earlier, like the Daredevils, the Fantastic Fours, where, like, yeah, there's action, and it's this and that, and it's not bad, but you're not really it's just popcorn flick. It's action, and you don't really care about the characters. You don't really care what happens. This one is just that. It's just marginally better everywhere. You kind of care for the characters because I guess you have a history, but if you just look at what the movie presents, you kind of care. You kind of care about the villain, I guess, marginally more than nothing. And it's, yeah, you just kind of care about everything. And it's just kind of how I feel about it. You kind of care about it. Not that anyone does a bad performance. It just needed a lot more variety. I guess, the villain was bad. I'm not going to say it's because the performance was bad. It was just a bad villain. Conceptually, Malachi, I don't think really did much of anything. It's hard for me to remember much of what he did. So sorry. But yeah. Next. Oh boy. These posters are so busy. Here we go. Captain America the Winter Soldier. So where does this one go? This movie I think was really important because Captain America was kind of seen as like, I don't want to say the weak Avenger because that's what Hawkeye and Black Widow were, but he was kind of the grounded, like everyday, real uppity man, like, oh, I am here to fight for America and this and that. Even though we saw him push back a bit on the Avengers, this is the one where he was actually put to the test of, hey, what are you going to do? You going to fight for America's ideals or for the America governmental system that you believe in? And although in retrospect, it's obvious, well, of course, if the U.S. government's been taken over by this shadow organization, of course you're going to fight that. But really, Captain America's kind of a goody two-shoes, you would think. And the idea of, I'm going to go undercover and all this and that. And then, like, he pulls out his old costume to fight at the end because he doesn't have another costume. And he thinks, like, hey, we got to fight these people because if they beat me, then this is going to be a whole big, nationwide war. And we need the whole country to believe in me and see that I died and whatever. Really good. A lot of heartache. Really good emotional drama. The villains are attacking Captain America specifically in a way that they couldn't attack anyone else. Very political, sci-fi, Jason Bourne-y. This is S tier. It's not Avengers good, but man, this movie's so good. The only complaints are, well, it's not the Avengers. Even like the music when the Winter Soldier comes up, you just hear that. Yeah, oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah, and then like Bucky's like learning about himself at the end or whatever. So yeah, really good, really good. I'm doing all these off the top of my head, and I feel like I'm missing one. Hold on, what am I missing? I guess that it's not even the worst thing. All right, well, let's just finish Phase 2. Let's just all put them down here. So there's Ant-Man. There's Guardians of the Galaxy. Age of Ultron. And that's probably it. We did Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. Okay, yeah. So yeah, now it's Guardians of the Galaxy. This is, aside from the Avengers, probably the most important Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Because if you look at movies made about 3 years after this came out. So this one came out 2014? August 2014. So you start looking at the 2017s, so that's like it would be Guardians. So yeah, the 2017 movies would be Guardians 2, Spider-Man No Way Home, but especially Thor Ragnarok. You really got this impression of like, oh, we're copying this Guardians of the Galaxy format. And, for Thor especially, it felt fine because we'd all gotten so burned with the Dark World that I was fine. By the way, just so y'all know, I'm putting this right here. This is the movie that it's really like I don't want to say a buddy comedy. It's a fast, witty comedy that you would. I'm trying to think of something like it's like the Ghostbusters of the modern generation, if you want to think of it like that. But Ghostbusters is like very methodical and slow, sarcastic. This is sarcastic, but it's loud, bombastic, rude, and it has like this, all the awesome tunes that tie everything together. It has a tree that only says 3 words that gets like real emotional growth and you start crying for it. And it's probably the most quotable. I mean, ooh, child, what are you doing? Dance off, baby. Or oh, everything goes over his head. Impossible. I would jump up and catch it. Like, every character is presented like, here's what their goals are, here's what their skills are, here's their personality flaws, and they stick with it so straight, and they go so hard to it. But the editing's done so fast, everything's done so clearly. It's so amazingly good. I mean, if you think about it, they're introducing 5 main characters, plus like Yondu and Ronan, and John C. Reilly, who shows up for no reason. Like, all these other characters. And they just balance it all together, and you care about each one of them. Ooh, I'm burping. No, it's so good. Then next we have Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm going to put down here in the B category, but kind of a little bit higher. Because there's a lot of good here. But I think you will remember the bad more. And the bad is kind of the characters being a little weird and the stakes being really extreme, and Thor going to this this underwater cave where he sees the future, but it's not really. But really, the good stuff in this movie is really good. The Avengers just hanging around in the Avengers Tower, and like they all try to lift Mjolnir, and Cap makes it move a little bit. Oh, what's that about? And it's really good. Or you have the scene at Hawkeye's house where they're just all living in this cabin, ashamed because they failed. You have the bad guy, Andy Serkis. He's awesome in everything he does. You love him. But other than that, it's kind of mindless fighting, right? The battle at the end with Vision at Sokovia, it's just so much fighting. Plus, like, even things that shouldn't be fighting are kind of action-y, just to make them action-y, and they're really intense. Like, I think when they went to Korea to steal Vision's body, and Black Widow drove a motorcycle out of the Quinjet and started driving the wrong way on the highway to hook up like a grappling hook to the Vision capsule, and they pull it away. It's just stuff like that where it's so kind of absurd that you kind of lose yourself, and you don't really allow the characters enough time to breathe. Which is when, gosh, how many more like major characters did they add? So they added Ultron, they added Quicksilver, they added Scarlet Witch, they added Vision, and then I guess you want, like, Brody's kind of a full-on Avenger at this point, and he hasn't really had a ton of characterization before, and so they're trying to, it just becomes too many characters fighting for attention and whatnot, and it just kind of falls flat. Again, not bad, it does a lot right. A few things bad really kind of drag it down. But unironically, I think if this movie were like 20 minutes longer, it would have been better. And I think what would have made it better is if some of that action was cut out, maybe 15 minutes of action, and you put in 15 minutes more of character development. I think that would have made it better. And then to finish phase 2, we've got Ant-Man. I don't know, this one's hard. It's in this range. Okay, it's better than Iron Man 2. I think it's better than Iron Man 3. You know, I'm gonna put it right here. It's good. It's good. It's good, right? It's a heist movie. And we all kind of like heist movies. This one kind of does crank up the jokiness a little too much, but that's fine. You know, pick a tone and stick with it. But I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about this one because some of the humor is amazing. Like I forget, but the guy that goes, like, "Hey, hear about this? I got spiders out there in New York, Spider-Man." Like all these people. It's awesome. The ant powers, it kind of doesn't make sense more than I think anything else that the MCU has done to this point. But you just kind of have to accept it. And this movie, it was the last movie of a phase, and it kind of feels just like a side story. Like, hey, all the real stuff's happening off over here. Here's something else to show that there's other kind of magical stuff going on, but it's, you know, it's not spectacular or whatever. It's just nice and solid. But I think it does do a few more risks than Thor, and I think they generally, you know, pay off a bit more, so I'm going to put it there. Alright. Phase 3. I'm just going to do the first year, which was Civil War, I guess, and Doctor Strange. Let's just put the next 3 on here, just because I'm thinking about it, so... No Way Home. What are the other ones? Oh, Ragnarok. Here's Ragnarok. And Guardians 2. There we go. So first up is Civil War. It was only a year after Age of Ultron, and kind of put out to be kind of the bigger deal. Because it's kind of the first time that we actually see the heroes fight. Yes, we did. You have Brody and Iron Man 2 fighting a little bit. You had the little bit in the first Avengers. But this is the first one where it's like, oh man, they're actually fighting. And it's like real. And the problem is you understand it from both sides. Tony Stark, he's having all the psychological issues. Really kind of wants someone that he can mentally blame anything on. So if he goes out on a mission, you know, helps kill someone, it's other person that has the blood on their hands. It's not Tony. Tony's just, you know, the executioner or whatever. Captain America wants the freedom, feels that, you know, having guys on the ground is always, you know, they're always going to be the right ones. This is the Maverick. This is, you know, the non-guy. Hey there, Chip Manee. Thank you for hopping onto the stream. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's solid. Where was I going with this? So yeah, it's the first time the heroes fight, and like we get the Spider-Man and stuff, which did feel a little forced and whatever. But again, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief because Vision just whops everyone that's here. Am I right? So, but it's good, and I think when it really becomes to me, we're just doing an MCU tier list of sorts. Now that the phase is kind of over, and I guess technically the latest Ant-Man was, I guess it's starting Phase 5. I'm just doing a tier list because I saw Ant-Man, and it's like, all right, I'm just getting my opinions out of here now because I've never done this before, and I need to show my kids this when I have kids in 30 years. Anyway, so that's it. But yeah, feel free to put in your input and whatnot. It's all visible right now. Oh, maybe we can't quite see it all. Anyway, but yeah, that's what we're doing. And we're just listening to some sweet MDC2 music. So yeah, Civil War. I'm going to put it up here in the A tier. It probably would be in the B tier, except for that last like 10 minutes when you actually get Cap and Iron Man fighting together alone. And you kind of get the realization that this wasn't some grand villain that put this together. It was just one guy who, again, going back to what makes a good villain is someone that can attack your heroes personally. And this is someone that was able to attack the Avengers specifically. Like, yes, you could just say, oh, it's Superman Goku fused with, you just make a super strong villain, but that's not interesting. Someone that has the unique ability to fly and destroy the Avengers like Zemo did. It's number 3 right now. Yeah, Winter Soldier is very good. We described that, but yeah. So, but no, I'm glad that you liked it. I mean, I feel like everyone likes the one. I've never met anyone that's like, Winter Soldier is like mid or whatever. Everyone, it's like, no, top like 3 MCU. Even like top 5 superhero movies. Like maybe behind only The Dark Knight. Like that may be the only one that's like universal that everyone's like, no, this is above Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier just fits with everyone. Everyone loves it. The next one, Doctor Strange.
Alright, that's how to do it.
Well, hey, thank you for the follow. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I don't often make tier lists. So if this is what you're here for, then that's fine. Just be prepared. We're not doing Marvel tier lists every weekend. Would that be the worst stream ever? Hey guys, here's our updated list now that WandaVision episode 6 came out. We gotta update the whole tier list. Oh, I'm keeping it up. Yeah, we're doing it. But yeah, this has been a busy season at work. So it's like my 2nd or 3rd time at the year. But I'm hoping once things are done in the next month or 2, I'll be back on my weekend regular schedule. But we'll see. Where was I talking about Doctor Strange? So Doctor Strange, I felt like is the first paint by numbers movie in the MCU. Am I wrong in that? If I'm wrong, tell me. But this is the first one where either the formula was there before, or it just became really apparent now because everything copied it. But it's kind of alright, you have an action scene at like the 30-minute mark, and then an action scene at the hour and 30 mark, and then the finale at the 2-hour mark, and the character loses one of them and gets away from another one, and everyone's kind of a little quippy, but not so much. Well, hey, I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm not as bad as Doctor Strange here with losing his hands and whatnot. So it's hard because I feel like Doctor Strange is kind of the one that you base a lot of the upcoming movies after this on. I mean, am I wrong with that? Doctor Strange doesn't do anything bad, but it doesn't do anything spectacular. It's just like, yep, this is a solid B movie all around. I mean, like a few awesome moments. Dormammu have come to bargain. Like him meeting the Himalayas and the Chosen One and all that stuff. Yeah, this is about where I'm thinking right here, kind of in the middle. But not really a ton of bad stuff. The only one that comes to mind that's like really groan-worthy is the whole oh gosh, I wish I had the exact quote. You all know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. It's the oh yes, okay, nice to meet you, Mr. Strange. It's Mr. Doctor. It's like, this is the worst line. The reason I'm tempted to put this lower is just because it has Mads Mikkelsen in it, and I feel like they kind of ruin him. Mads Mikkelsen's such a good actor. I love him in everything that he's in. Maybe not everything, because I haven't seen Fantastic Beasts or whatever, but oh man, he's so generic in this movie. So generic. But yeah, I feel like this is about right? Next one, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm gonna put it here. It's clearly a significant step down from the first one, right? It's just kind of a continuation of everything. But you get a little new stuff. You get Mantis, who's cool. You get Nebula, who's kind of on the team, but kind of not. It goes a little too hard in the jokiness. But it's still really close to that first one, which I feel like hit the perfect balance. But yeah, it's... I don't know, it's just... It can't recreate that magic in a bottle, which is a problem we see in a lot of sequels, not just in superhero or Marvel or whatever. I mean, Star Wars is the same. You really can't, bottle the magic again. In fact, this is kind of like Empire Strikes Back. All the heroes break up. You have Rocket and Yondu who are together. You have Quinn who's off with Drax and Gamorra's with it. Maybe it's only the two. I thought there was 3 parties. Maybe not. Yeah, it's just the 2. But yeah, again, kind of like Empire Strikes Back. The heroes break up. They meet together at the end, reunite, take care of everything. But again, good soundtrack, not as good as the first one. But yeah, it's like a 90%. The first one, 100% perfect. This one, 90%, so close. Spider-Man Homecoming. I think this is like right here. Am I wrong? The reason why this one is so good, in comparison to a lot of the more recent stuff, is it gets the stakes right. This is a high school movie. Okay, yeah, Spider-Man's in high school. Cool, we get it. Awesome. But here's the thing. The stakes are all high school related. These are problems that a high schooler would have. Like the villain, Vulture, what's he doing? Oh, he's stealing like some paintings and some Stark tech or whatever. Oh, okay. So what happens if he steals it? I guess a few low-life criminals get really big guns, and some art collectors get some really good art, and Tony Stark's insurance has to pay a little bit of money, but like, that's kind of it. No, nothing bad happens in the movie. The stakes aren't high. I take back, the stakes are that, and also he doesn't get the girl to go to the dance and whatnot. And it feels so appropriate and so refreshing, with especially the recent phase where there's been 5 like universe-destroying events, and it's like, oh wow, thank goodness one hero did it all by himself, and thank goodness, because it's a solo movie, he didn't feel the need to say, hey everyone, the universe is going to be destroyed unless we all get together like right now. Oh, phew. And you really lose a lot of your belief. You have to spend all of your belief. This one, it's very simple. Spider-Man could lose. He could absolutely lose. And the movie would probably be stronger, if we're being totally honest. But it's just good. It's so refreshing in kind of the midst of everything else we've had. But again, it feels kind of paint by the numbersy. It gets really jokey, and I mentioned earlier, about 3 years after Guardians of the Galaxy, everything starts getting really, really jokey. But, for Spider-Man, he's a quippy, cocky, arrogant high schooler. He's supposed to be, this greedy person. So, I think it fits. Again, it feels weird. All the 2017 movies are going to this one section. But Thor Ragnarok, I'm going to put right here. This is, again, Guardians of the Galaxy, but done even worse than Volume 2. Not terribly. It actually came together really well. But a few of the lines like, oh, he's a friend from work, it doesn't really fit. But like Jeff Goldblum having like his birthday blimp or whatever, that's cool. But honestly, my biggest problems with this movie is the fact that Marvel's kind of had this reluctance to make really big, permanents, to say like, oh, this thing happened, well now the hero's gonna have to suffer from that forever. Thor loses an eye in this movie. Spoilers! And you know what happens? 10 minutes into Infinity War, he just gets another eye. from a box that Rocky Raccoon had, and it's just like, okay, well, whatever. So this whole kind of character development, like the symbol of like, I'm sacrificing, I'm more mature and whatever, it's just gone. And it's like, oh man. But of course, you could argue that's not in this movie. But yeah, I think it's solid. We get to see Hulk, which kind of been underutilized a lot of the time. Even though it doesn't make sense, let's just fly my plane into space and then end up here. But no, nice and solid. Now we're gonna get the 2017 ones. Or sorry, this is 2018. Should we do the 19s or the 19s? Marvel, Infinity War, and then Spider-Man again. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Black Panther. I don't know. It's right here. Here's the key with Black Panther, right? Again, the villain is really good because he attacks the one place the hero's vulnerable at, right? Because kind of the whole issue with Wakanda as a nation, as a whole, is this issue where they're all very, I was gonna say religious, that's not the right term. What's the word I'm looking for? Traditional. They're very traditional. They're run by, oh, whoever wants to be king must fight the king to the battle of the death, and if he wants to, well, you undrink this plant, and then you drink this plant again to restore your Black Panther powers, and this is where the king comes from. But we still listen to all the tribes, and everyone comes and fights, and you know, all of these rules that they have to live by, but at the same time, they're way more advanced than everyone else, and they lock themselves off from the world. What happens when this guy shows up and says, well, hey, I'll play by your rules, and I'm going to win, because I've, you know, had training from the outside world, and I really know how to, like, fight and stuff from the Western ideals and whatnot. And what happens when he wins? Well, then he gets to become king, and you got to see how messed up their whole society is. And that's a story and a villain that only could come after Black Panther and all of Wakanda. So yeah, that's actually really good. And again, not as jokey. Kind of takes stuff, you know, pretty serious. I do think the movie is kind of this really wishy-washy, what do we call it? Wishy-washy morality at the end, where it's, well, hey, you don't want to be isolationist. Okay, well, Wakanda's going to come out and help everyone and do this stuff. Well, no, they're just going to build like a rec center in Oakland. It's like, oh, this is you expanding beyond your borders. This is the big thing your country learned on how to change. And so it's like, go out there, be the change the world wants and all this stuff. And then it turns out, yeah, you just... you don't really do that much. So yeah, that's kind of my thought process with that. Yeah, we're almost... when we're done with this section, we're going to be almost done. Okay. I think the latter half is going to go really fast, though. Avengers Infinity War. I'm going to put it at the end. So I know it's S tier. I don't know where it is. This one is really a culmination of everything. Oh, did we listen to all right, let's swap over to Marvel 3. So, again, really jokey, like Guardians of the Galaxy. But I think some of the biggest heart in the whole series. Thanos is... like, yes, there's been a million YouTubers have talked about this or whatever, but Thanos is the hero of the story, right? Or maybe not hero, the protagonist. Despite the flaws in his logic and whatnot, he truly believes that he's bringing salvation to the world. And it's his journey collecting the 5 Infinity Stones. And and these pesky Avengers that are stopping him. And so, like, yes, we don't see the protagonist as much. We're more focused on what are the traps that people are coming at the protagonist with. But all the heart, all the emotion come with Thanos. And I think... Let's skip. Yeah, this soundtrack's a little more quiet. But Thanos is the best villain in the MCU. Because he does everything that you would want. Like, yeah, he could go out and bop the Avengers, but it's a lot of his personal growth where he's wanted to get all the Infinity Stones, he finally gets it, and it's, oh, how do I actually do this? Especially when you have to sacrifice Gamora, get her off of their sacrifice, and then he knows he can't stop then. And on top of that, you get to see, like, I know everyone's ultimate reaction. Star-Lord punches Thanos because he's really mad, and that kind of ruins everything. You have, you know, Spider-Man hopping on a spaceship for no reason, even though it's a really bad idea. You have Thor going to get his ultimate weapon. Does Mjolnir get destroyed? I don't even remember. No, I think it got destroyed in Ragnarok. Oh boy, there's too much to remember. Anyway, oh no, yeah, Mjolnir's there. I don't remember why he's so adamant that he needs Stormbreaker, but okay, that's what he says. I think I got really long-winded there. The point is, Thanos is the protagonist, even though he's the villain, and especially after the Soul Stone, you can tell that everything pains him so much, but he knows that he has to finish because otherwise his sacrifice was in vain. And the more I'm talking about this, the more I realize I really do need to put it here. Oh, it's one of these two. I think I have to do it here the more I'm talking about it out loud. I think the ultimate expression of why this movie's good is, again, spoilers. Thanos snaps, you see everyone disappear, and then you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? What are the villains going to do? And how does it end? It's Thanos sitting in a cabin out on the courtside as he smiles on the dawn of the universe that he has helped to perfect. He's done his job. He can now go and rest our heroes, as Ghostbusters on the Nintendo Entertainment System described. So, yeah. I mean, these two are so close, but I really can't emphasize it. If we're talking about, like, the Avengers and what they do and whatever, like, yeah, it's down further here. But just Thanos steals so much of the show. I don't know how you can't put him right there. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm going to put, actually, below Iron Man 2. Again, it's not bad. It feels very formulaic. Just like how I was describing with Doctor Strange. It's the one where this felt like, oh yeah, oh, we're having an action scene at the middle, or at the beginning, and now another one at the middle, and then one at the end. But like the the villain isn't that intimidating. There isn't a lot of memorable stuff. Kind of the memorable thing is the post-credit scene where Scott gets stuck in the quantum realm or whatever, because everyone else gets snapped and whatnot. It's it's just very unremarkable. Again, it's not bad, it's not uninteresting, but I think it's saying when this is the first movie that I saw in theaters and I never saw again. And it's just because partially you're older, you don't have as much time, but also I just don't have the motivation. I don't need to watch all these movies a second time. Even like Infinity War, I loved it, but I've only seen it, I guess I've seen it 3 times. I saw it twice in theaters and then once in home video. You just don't need to see these movies a whole bunch. Next one, Captain Marvel. No surprise, it's going here. And I do think, like, between Ant-Man and Captain Marvel, actually, the more I think about this, oh gosh. I may just put it down there. Again, we're going to review everything at the end. But again, this one was so unremarkable. It was this huge, galactic battle that had all of, this big, important, and I don't want to say effects, influence maybe on the universe. And it makes you go, oh wow, this could be big and important, but the characters just aren't there. There, I said it. Oh gosh, I do want to move this up. Samuel Jackson is, he's just doing a fun performance. He's having fun. Like, you're giving me $10 million and I get to go run around. And you get like the scroll where it's like, oh cool, we finally get to see the scroll. That's awesome. But they're not really doing too much. I don't know. I just have such a hard time with this movie. The main reason is because the hero is so boring. She's so uninteresting. And I remember this was the movie that I went home like to work and stuff, and this wasn't just me talking about it, this was everyone in the office. And I was like, hey, did you see Captain Marvel? Yeah, what'd you think about it? It was fine, but Captain Marvel herself was so boring. And that's kind of what everyone's opinion was. Like, yeah, like she's there. And the weird thing is, the whole movie they talked about how you're such an emotional woman and you can't handle your emotions. Why can't you be more mature and handle your emotions? Why are you so wild and crazy? Meanwhile, she acts like this and doesn't have any emotion. She has zero emotion in the whole movie. Because why would I have emotion about anything? That's what her character was the whole time. In fact, I remember, like, there's a scene where she's, like, falling in the last battle and then goes, like, ah, and, like, it's kind of supposed to be, oh, she's going Super Saiyan or whatever. And, like, how, what does she do? And then just goes and fights. And it's like, wait, that's it? You're not, like, angry. You're not doing anything. In fact, I remember the moment where it was like, oh wow, she's different. Is in the post-credit scene where she yells like, where's Fury? And you're like, oh, that is a different director, because that's clearly the Russo brothers giving you that direction, not the director for Captain Marvel, because the sets are different and whatnot. So yeah, it's so tight between these two. I don't know, it may go like this, but I want to go like this just because it's one of these two. In fact, I'm going to put Hulk up here just to kind of emphasize how much these two are in their own tier. Avengers Endgame, I'm going to put one above Ragnarok. Or maybe about right there. Yeah, I think right there is good. It's basically Civil War 2. There's a lot of good send-offs for a lot of the characters, but this really felt like fan service the movie, where it's, well, I mean, and with the pandemic and the way things turned out, it really did feel like that was the last movie that the MCU finished up. And if that's the case, I feel like that's how you would wrap it up. The heroes got all their goodbyes. You got to see everything. You got to see Captain America say like, oh, I was a prissy or whatever. You got to see Iron Man have some closure with his dad. You got to see kind of the reversal from the first Avengers, where there's a barbed wire. Would you lay down on it for your fellow soldier? No, I would cut the wire. And you see the total opposite, where Iron Man sacrifices himself and Captain America does the selfish thing. I can't think of a better way to describe it, but goes and lives the life that he wants and goes back in time and no, I don't think that I will, or whatever. Back when people were like, oh, he looks a lot like Joe Biden. You just walked into this? I really hope that How sorry? How do we say this? Football dude. I really hope that you just like walked in your room and I was streaming on there, and you're like, "How did this happen? Is this some devil magic? How did this happen?" Ah! I really hope that's what the case was. And you're like, "Oh, how is Twitch live or whatever?" But yeah, hey, thank you for hopping in to this stream. Finishing up our MCU. I don't know what we call it. Tier list. That's the term. Tier list. We're finishing up with Endgame. Yeah, it's good. It does. It's just very kind of satisfactory and fan servicey. It makes you go like, "Yep, this is good. I'm a fan of these characters. They're getting kind of the send off that I want. That kind of feels appropriate for each of them." Even though some of that will change shortly, but it all feels good. So yeah, I think it's good there. It's clearly not as good as like Infinity War. Not as much heart, not as much soul, which again feels weird. But again, a lot of it comes down to the villain is not a good villain. The Thanos of this movie is the Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where he's just kind of this angry, grumpy guy and whatever. Ugh. And it's really like that sacrifice of Gamora that turned Thanos into this, not pathetic, but like, it's sympathetic, where you feel like, oh, he doesn't want to do this, but he feels like he needs to. And yeah, that's why having the right hero is so important. The next one, Spider-Man No Way, Far From Home. This is the one in Italy. Oh gosh. I'm thinking it's B tier. Yeah, if you got a thought on Endgame, shout it out. I got to think through where this Spider-Man movie's going. I'm gonna say right here on B tier. Yeah, I think that's right. I think, again, you want a really good villain in Mysterio. And Mysterio kind of fits that bill. It's kind of specific for Peter Parker, but nothing really feels too epic until kind of the very end. But it... Yeah, so Mysterio, really good villain for Spider-Man, but not quite far enough. I guess, but with that hero, you kind of can't go far enough. But other than that, it's kind of a worse high school movie. They're out in Italy and they're kind of doing whatever, and it's not as interesting. It just feels a lot like the first one, but it's not as interesting because the stakes are a little higher, but they're away from home and it's a little weird. You don't have like that New York aspect, which really feels a big part of Spider-Man. I'm not ignoring your comment. I want to get to kind of a stopping point here. And I'm kind of there because I don't have a ton to say. It just feels like the first movie, except done a little bit worse all around. You have this really fun idea of like, oh, the multiverse and whatever. But then it doesn't really come together and you find out it's kind of this farce, but then it's like, no, it is. The one reason why I may move this into A tier is the ending is amazing here, right? Where you get J. Jonah Jameson as Alex Jones. We know who Spider-Man is. It's Peter Parker. And like it just ends right there. You're like, oh wow, that's so amazing. No, okay. All right, so you missed it earlier, but here, let me go over your whole thing. So the space battle, between the final battle and the gathering of the team. Wait. The final battle and the gathering of the team. Oh wait, you're talking like the final battle of Endgame, like with Thanos and they beat him and whatever, and then like the funeral environment. Is that what you're talking about? That gap? Because I don't think that's that long. But no, Infinity War, great pacing. But yeah, Endgame wasn't. I mean, in general, I agree with that. I can't think of specifically what you're thinking of. But no, the reason why Homecoming was so good is because it really focused on the small scale stuff. Because Spider-Man's a high schooler in this movie, right? So what are the stakes that he has? Well, I want Iron Man to love me, and I want to take this girl out to the dance. And like that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about anything else in the world. He doesn't really care. I guess in his grades too. But it's not galactic, villains destroying the world or whatever. The stakes are so low, but it's because he cares about them so much, and he thinks that, if I don't do this, this will affect my life forever. And it's kind of that motivation which pushes him forward. And it's all very personal in a way that you don't really get as much from a lot of these other movies. And that's the whole thing. It's very grounded, which I know, again, for a superhero movie, I don't know if that's a good thing. But no, it's not because Iron Man's in it. Iron Man, I feel like he's barely in it at all. Far From Home. I mean, maybe. I just can't think of much spectacular about this. A few like cool scenes and whatnot, but the reason why this one is so refreshing is because it's really focused on the home aspect and being a high schooler again, where oh gosh, the prom is like the biggest day of your life and whatnot. Yeah, that's the thing. Endgame was too bloated of a movie, and it's because they broke up into like 4 teams or whatever, each doing their own thing, which had kind of their own mini arc. Ironically, Endgame probably would have been better as like a Disney Plus show, where if like you had an intro, and then you had 4 episodes, one focusing on they're going to the New York team, and then they're going with the Guardians of the Galaxy one, and then one to the Thor: The Dark World, like whatever all those groups were, and just have like an hour straight focused on them, and then like an hour conclusion at the middle. I think something more like that would have made the whole thing better, but you're right, the whole movie was so bloated for how much stuff they were going for. But I think once they decided we're going to do a time heist, they kind of had to sacrifice a few things, and you couldn't have just like, Thor, go back in time and see his mom and not do anything and whatnot. But yeah, no, I agree. That's why Infinity War is so much better than Endgame. But yeah, I mean, it's the Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi. It's just when you are allowed to have stakes and stuff, it's going to inherently make things stronger. Anyway, so that's really where I'm feeling. And also, it's not like these movies are that far apart. Middle of awesome tier and top of bad tier. But yeah, is it like a good bad or is it bad? You have to decide. But anyway, so that was 2019. 2020 was nothing. All right, so then I think 21. What were they? It was WandaVision. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Okay, that's Multiverse Madness. Black Widow was there. I think What If was there. I don't know. Here we go. Winter Soldier. Loki. Was Hawkeye there? I think so. Oh my gosh, was this all in one year? It was. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, these were all in like 1 year. I think that's roughly the timeline, maybe technically like that. Oh my gosh, now I'm remembering why. Oh, okay, yeah, now everything's like kind of fallen into place. It's like, this is why everything felt so bad. WandaVision. Alright, let's talk it through before we give it a rating. This is such a mixed bag, right? WandaVision, as someone that like didn't watch the trailers and whatever and just kind of started watching the show, WandaVision actually had a really, really good premise, which is, let's take these superheroes and kind of put them into these old funny comedies of, the 60s and 50s and 70s, like these TV sitcoms, not comedies. Oh boy, no. Yeah, get ready for this. But no, the show had this really fun idea. Let's kind of spoof these old things, but these are kind of superheroes, and things are kind of a little awkward, and they're a little off, and everything felt weird, and you're like, what's going on? And then they started going around episode 4 or so. They're like, oh, guess what? This is actually like a whole town that's been kidnapped, and Wanda's dreaming and forcing everyone to like dream walk and do all this stuff, and you instantly go, I don't care about this. It's uninteresting. Is that a spider? I think I have a spider. Oh, springtime may be coming. Dang it. Oh no, I guess I'm happy for spring. I just don't want spiders in my house. But it made me so disappointed. I loved it when it was just, let's do these funny things with these superheroes and things are awkward. And I think if they really stuck with that and said, why is this happening? And they just explained like, well, this is what Wanda was dreaming of, but it doesn't matter. It has no effect on everything. This is just a fun idea we have that describes, what's going on in her mind, give a little character development, and it's interesting. I think that's great. But you make this whole thing out to be this big battle, and then, oh, there's this other witch that's also coming in and doing stuff. Such like a bland ending where you don't care because the stakes don't matter, and you just know, well, it's all like superhero stuff, and I don't super care about the characters because you did let me get to know them because they're all playing characters in these TV shows. And you're like, oh man, I just want my Brady Bunch spoof again. Go back to that. I wouldn't say that she was... So she fit in the story that they were trying to tell. But I think where the story could have been good, she would not fit. It would have fit much better if it was just, hey, here's some weird things that's going on in Wanda's vision. Even if you want to say, hey, Agatha has like Wanda under a spell, and these are the visions that Wanda's dreaming to keep her from coming awake and like destroying stuff. That could be a cool way to tell a story of like, oh, well, then where did she come from? Why is she doing it? Even though you could kind of know, well, because Wanda, she's mad that Vision's dead and all this stuff. And I think that there's kind of a cool but simple story you could do there. But instead, they went with like, oh, let's bring in, like, what's his name? They brought in the other Quicksilver, and they're like, oh, it's Uncle Jesse. Oh, or is it not? And it's not like confusing in the moment, but you can't really tell what's real and what's fiction as easily, so you don't get invested in the characters. So I don't think Agatha is a bad character. I think the actual show is just bad because the story is. It's kind of like in video games where they feature bloat, where you kind of look at it and go, oh wow, there's so many features after 5 years of DLC and updates that kind of the core of the game has been lost. And like that's why you kind of want to go back to WoW Vanilla and all this other stuff. But it's not like offensively bad, right? That's why I'm thinking kind of in here, I don't know, about here, because I do like some of the good stuff. And even like once the show turns bad, it's not like it's bad. You get to see like the van of all the FBI agents pull up or whatever they're called, and then it turns into an ice cream truck or a circus, and it's kind of cool and a few clever things. Plus the ending credits were like CRT based, which everyone loves a good cathode ray tube reference. Everyone loves that. But I'm not sold on that. It's kind of in this range. I could drop it down more because the TV shows, since there's such a prolonged experience, there can be a lot more wiggle room, because it's like, do you weigh the beginning more, do you weigh the ending, and I don't know. I feel like that's fine. Oh my gosh, I can't decide where it goes. I'm gonna put it here for now, because I think the first hour and a half or so of Black Widow was just meh, but it wasn't bad. You want it back by Captain Marvel? Alright, we'll think about that. Because this does feel like a razor's edge. Here's the reason the first bit of the movie was meh. It wasn't super exciting, but the moment I lost it is like that last 20-minute sequence. If you remember, she's up in like this flying blimp castle thing, whatever, and Black Widow's like, oh, I'm under control. But then like, oh, I've got a pheromone that'll only work on you, that'll make you listen to me. And what does she do? Breaks her nose on the table so that now I can't smell. And it's like, wait, what? This is so absurd. And it's not like she has a broken nose or anything in any of the other movies. Her face looks just as fine. It's just like, okay, now it's better. And the whole movie felt like, hey, Scarlett Johansson, will you be in the Avengers? Only if you give me a solo movie. Oh, gosh. All right, we'll make you a solo movie. I guess. And she has all these ideas like, and I'm going to do all this cool stuff. And it's like, no, this doesn't work. But I don't think the first half was that bad. I'm going to put it above Captain Marvel. All these movies are bad. Oh my gosh. But we're going to review everything at the end. If you have any arguments specifically on why Black Widow should go down, like if you're like, remember this scene, I absolutely will change it. But you gotta actually convince me. You have to actually convince me. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think it's about right here. Wait, where did it go? Oh, right there. It's... This movie, I feel like could have been way... Or, not the movie, this show. This show could have been a lot better, right? That's okay. This last section, it could be very short with some of the stuff that's coming up. But Falcon and the Winter Soldier... So I remember a podcast I was listening to back in like, I guess April of 2020. Because this was supposed to premiere like fall of 2020 initially, pre-COVID and everything. Or sorry, pre-global health crisis. I don't know if we're still, fighting for that or whatnot. Anyway, and it was kind of this quiet news story where like insiders are saying, but they were like, essentially what I heard is, hey, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going back for reshoots. Oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. And the reason is the villains of this movie were going to release essentially a bioweapon on the whole world, and that was their plan. And it was like, oh gosh, we're in a pandemic, we can't have that be the plot of a show, so we've got to rewrite it. And that's kind of why you watch the show, and the villains, they're like, we're gonna go convince Congress to vote on our plan. Oh, how are you gonna do it? We're gonna go convince them. Oh, really? How? Haha! We're tricky, and we're not gonna tell you. And they don't really. And maybe I'm just not remembering it. Remembering all the details. But the villains were kind of intentionally vague on what they were threatening with, and it felt like very last-minute edits to, hey, let's take out the bioterrorism aspect. But other than that, there is some good stuff in here. The evil Captain America, I want to call him John Doggett. I know that's not his name, but the big nose Captain America. He kind of really interesting, showing that like only really Steve Rogers could have been the Captain America, because this other guy he kills a civilian with a shield and it's like all bloodied and it's like so some really good stuff in there. Yeah. Villain was like a member of Mean Girls. Yeah, and again, I think that's partially due to the rewrites. Because it really feels like something was lost there. And again, now we'll go to this next part. Might be a little political, so hold on. But the last 5-10 minutes of that show felt very much like they rewrote it after the riots of 2020. Remember all that, and it felt like the writers went, oh, oh, we're having this moment where now we're gonna have a black Captain America. We really have to emphasize, that things aren't racist or whatever. And that's why the ending fell flat, because the whole time he's fighting for, like, no, if you want to, make change, you got to do it through the senators and whatnot, and have them do it the right way and vote new people in. That's all good. And then at the end, he's like, also, none of you are doing your job, and y'all got to do better. And actually, the bad guys are right. And it just felt like the political climate has shifted, and now they have to twist the end to be like, no, I'm actually supporting what the bad guys want. They just did it the wrong way. And yeah, I think that's kind of what we're talking about, where the evolution was solid, but a lot of the narratives felt very forced. And hey, I get it. I wouldn't want to be writing a show talking about stuff like, oh, can America accept a black Captain America or whatever, and then kind of have come a little social awakening where as like you're wrapping the show up, it's like, yeah, why isn't there a black Captain America? All these other things, and it's like, oh wow, how do I actually treat this? So I feel like the show could have been a lot higher if they were allowed to just make a stronger political stance, but it turned very wishy-washy in the editing room. Yeah, well, it's not the whole episode. It's like the last 5 minutes, because if you remember that scene, it's like, oh, let's put him like on the street with a bunch of cop cars, so you only see him and you don't see anyone else around him. So it's like, oh, this is clearly in the pandemic when they can't let anyone nearby anyone, even though they just were fighting and all this stuff. It just felt so weird, and man, I wish. Kind of like how we got the Colin Farrell episode 9 script leak. I kind of want a script leak of Falcon and Winter Soldier, so we know really what the plan was from the beginning. Okay, next is What If. I watched like one episode. I was laughing out loud because I couldn't believe that they were. I thought it was kind of a joke, like, hey, what if this funny thing happened? And then someone was like, oh no, this is like all canon. And it was like, no, bro, this isn't. Yeah, well, yeah. This is all like ranking, or that's why it's not like S whatever. It's super awesome, bad, Sentinel for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and then Duck Howard. And this lower tier we're gonna get into for a second. But yeah, so I watched one episode of What If. I thought it was hilarious that they thought they could get away with doing this really weird kind of. Maybe I shouldn't call it ugly. At the time, I thought it was ugly. Maybe I need to watch it again. But it was stuff like, oh, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? And it's like, all right, this stuff, it's just you literally saying, what if these two things happened? It's like, what if I said, what if Michael Jordan was 9 feet tall and his hands were the size of a car? It's like, okay, yeah, we could tell a cool story, but that's not canon or interesting in any way. So I'm putting it down there. It was just a bad concept from the beginning. I know people say like there's an Ultron fusion with Goku or whatever, and it's really cool. Well, guess what? I only saw the first episode. Was it Captain Britain? I already forgot. I think I watched. Actually, I think I watched the first one, and I saw like the second or third one. By the way, thank you for joining Chromo Quark. But I saw the second or third one, and it was, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? And I went, oh my gosh, this is literally a kid going, Daddy, tell me a bedtime story, as if Black Panther was in Guardians of the Galaxy. And you're like, oh, okay. Evil Strange? Yeah, I don't know what those words mean. Okay, well, point is, it's whatever. Maybe it's better, but I haven't watched it, and also, with the exception of maybe one or two other things, it's probably the worst campaign, because I didn't even, like, it was one of those, oh, it's on the Disney Plus release schedule like a year ahead of time, and then it was like, oh yeah, it came out like 2 months ago. What? Like, you did advertise it once at like YouTube or anything? Anyway. Now we got Loki. Gosh, I don't know. We're gonna put it like right here. This is the one Disney Plus show that I've seen that actually felt like they had this really core concept. It was the TVA and the time variance and whatnot. And they said, all right, we're gonna go full force on it. Does it make entirely sense? No, not really. But we're gonna treat it so seriously. And I think most importantly, they didn't make it jokey, like the Guardians of the Galaxy-ification that we're going to be getting to, especially later on here in a second. It's very straight-laced, and it's kind of odd. It's like, what are these? Oh, they're Infinity Stones. Yeah, they're good paperweights, whatever. And it kind of releases information where, like, you get a concept, and then they build on it, and you're like, whoa. And then they build on it, and you're like, whoa. And, like, the moment I was hooked on the show is it's like, oh, well, these people, like, they're traveling, like, we're in the real time, but then there's these timelines that are around. This is excellent. Okay, we're talking about Loki. I assume I just now saw your comment. But no, and the moment I went, wow, this show is actually really solid, is you're learning, like, okay, well, you can't really, like, if you land in a forest and if no one sees you, does that create variance and whatever and kind of mess stuff up? And then it's like, well, no, you go to a place that's going to have an apocalypse happen. And then whatever you do, it doesn't matter. It's the end of the world. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's a really cool, like, time theory that fits in canon and everything. And yeah, the character, whatever. Sure, I agree with you. Definitely the best version of Loki. But the point is, you kind of, every episode, it builds on what you've already learned, and you're learning more and more. And it has goofy stuff. Like when you go to the land of all the Loki variants, and there's Polybius in the background, the old video game that the US government made to brainwash children and all this stuff. And you have, like, actual Loki from the comics, and you have, like, a dog that's Loki, like, all this stuff, and you're like, because in your mind you're thinking, okay, wait, well, why are all the Lokis kind of the same person, and they're all, like, the same white skin, black hair, kind of greasy, kind of thin? It's like, no, it could be a dog, it could be this old guy, it could be this little kid, like, Loki could be anything, and it's like, yo, this is awesome, Throg. Anyway, so no, Loki's like the one Disney Plus show where you're like, wow, this is good. And yeah, I'm trying to keep the spoilers for, like, the latest stuff until we get there. The point is, I do know Loki's getting to season 2, and it's like, all right, I'm keeping Disney Plus for this, not Mandalorian or whatever, but we're keeping it for this. Anyway, here we go. Don't worry, if you thought What If was that bad, don't worry, Eternals is even worse. Like, earlier I said, like, oh, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's kind of forgettable, and I don't remember everything about it. I don't remember a thing about Eternals. It was like, okay, wait, there's this guy, okay, wait, okay, someone's named Icarus, and wait, who is, okay, there's villains come, wait, okay, now we're in the Greek times, okay, and oh, now we're in, like, 18th century France, and, the movie was so boring. In fact, here, let me put it this way. I'm doing this. We're doing this. What was this? D tier? Oh wait. Here. This is fast to the end. How do I change the color? There. Oh wait, oh no, red's like good in this too. Wait, so do we need like blue? It's like ice cold, it's so bad. You tried to watch it twice. I just pulled out my 3DS or whatever. I don't even remember what I pulled out. Oh, that movie was so bad. And here's the problem. Okay, if you've tried watching it twice, sorry, here comes the spoilers. At the end, when they're like, now Galactus is coming to Earth to kill it because the Eternals, like, messed whatever up, you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually going to affect everything, but no one's going to know it because you had to watch this terrible movie to find out about it. Anyway, such a bad movie. Oh my gosh. Like, this is Daredevil from 2003 level bad. Oh my god. Or, like, Catwoman. Like, this isn't just bad, this is like Catwoman 2005 bad. Oh. No, it's... That's the only thing I remember. That and... Oh man, everyone was bad. I feel bad. Like, imagine if you finally get, like, oh hey, I'm coming in, I got an invite to a Marvel movie, this is awesome, I get to be a superhero. And it's like, oh, you're the guy that throws rings or whatever. I don't even remember what their powers were. Alright. Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm gonna put right here. Yeah, I think this is the right spot for it. So here's my issues with Spider-Man No Way Home. It's all fan service. It's all fan service. To the point where I think the story is pretty... I shouldn't even say... No. The story's like B tier. You know what I mean? But it's just everything is so joyful the entire time. In fact, the more I talk about it, yeah, I think more like right there is probably better. Well, no, but that's my point. Is fan service typically means you're doing stuff to please the fans at the expense of the story and everything else. And while I do think that's true, and the story itself could have been stronger, I think the level of the fan service was so strong that it's so hard to find a fault with this movie. Just because it, like Spider-Man 3, for example, like it ended, but it also felt like, yeah, the trilogy's over, but we're still hoping for the fourth one. But this movie, it kind of closed Spider-Man 3, where, you know, you get to see like, well, what's an older Spider-Man like? And it's like, yeah, well, I got back issues and this and that, but you know, I still care about the little people, and all of these Spider-Men are hurt and whatnot. And I think what's kind of interesting is it's the origin story of Spider-Man, right? It's Spider-Man's third movie in the MCU, but it's really his origin story. Where does Spider-Man come from? Where is he going? No, it's not number one. It's not number one. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know that it can go above Captain America. I don't know. It's such an interesting movie. And the sad thing is the movie only works because Peter Parker, the Tom Holland Peter Parker, is such an idiot. Like, you should say, no, Green Goblin's an idiot, he should die. Doc Ock's, you know, they should go back to their own time period and die. But it's kind of that optimistic that we all want to have, where it's like, no, I could change them and whatnot, and it kind of works. You get like all the words, the great power comes great responsibility, and at the end he's poor in the thing and no one knows who he is, and he doesn't have his girlfriend anymore, and no, it's really better than it should have been. Yeah, it's good, but again, the issue is you have to have watched Spider-Man for like 20 years for it to actually hit as hard as it does. While these other movies, I don't think you need to be aware of that much history to enjoy it as other stuff is. Yeah, no, great movie. He comes around, and that's why you kind of need that really dumb stuff to get to the end. It does, you know, it reaches really high. It comes through. Great performances. William Dafoe is like even more creepy than he was in the first one, which is somehow possible. Yeah, love it. It's good. I mean, it's in super. Hawkeye. I don't know. It's. Here's the problem. If we're being honest, Hawkeye is a C show, right? Here's the problem. It's during Christmas time. And the hard thing is whenever something's put at Christmas time, it doesn't matter what it is, it's inherently more exciting. The lights everywhere, kind of the snow, the fact that when gonna take you for a ride. The fact that, like, if you're doing the whole, like, oh, Dad, are you gonna come home? Come to my karate tournament? It's kind of like, yeah, whatever. When it's like, Dad, are you gonna be home for Christmas, the 1 week a year when we could be together as a family? Like, that's kind of the real pressure. You're like, oh my gosh, I know I want to be that person that can go home. But here's the problem. I don't know if the show's that exciting. Like, where up higher? Like, are you talking A tier? Because the problem is, I think inherently, when you do something in a show, it's going to be inherently worse than a movie of the equivalent thing, just because you have to drag stuff out and the character development doesn't happen as Okay, like, would I rather watch Hawkeye or Ant-Man? I'd probably watch Ant-Man, but I'd probably watch Hawkeye over Thor. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit, because yeah, it's like a lot of the Disney Plus stuff that I've watched, not just the Marvel. The middle. Actually, here's why. I think Hawkeye actually has a pretty decent ending, because Kingpin shows up, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, he punches and stuff, like how you think Kingpin would. He's just this, and, you know, there's no in-universe explanation. We don't need it. We don't want it. And then, like, the beginning's really strong, because you get the whole, what's it called? Oh my gosh, how many versions of this are there? Alright, where's Captain America's theme? Here you go, theme of Ryu. Here we go, theme of Spider-Man. You think Ant-Man 1 is too high? Yeah, bad is B tier. But again, this isn't SAB whatever. This is bad tier. So is it like, that movie's so bad? Or is it like, that movie's so bad? Ooh, you have to decide. The one thing is, Sentinel is Sentinel from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Which, if you know anything about that game, that actually means it's like S+ tier. I couldn't think of anything else that started with C. Also, this is a reference to Beautiful Joe. I think it actually is super... Oh, I think these are actually from Beautiful Joe. That's why I thought of them. No, at the end of each level in Beautiful Joe, you get a rank, and it goes super, awesome, bad, crappy, and then, like, fail or something. I forget what it is, but yeah. Above Age of Ultron? Oh, I guess that's Age of Ultron. I was thinking Endgame. Okay. Alright, there. Let's compromise. I'm going to put it right there. That way Ant-Man gets bumped down, but we're leaving Age of Ultron right there. Again, we're going to come back through all these, so let's not get too nitpicky on the exact locations. But yeah. Alright, so that's it for 20... Oh gosh, we missed one, didn't we? Hold on. Where's Shang-Chi? Yeah, Shang-Chi. Oh boy, everyone, get ready for a hot take. Are you ready? Hot take time. Get ready. I don't know, it's like right here. I don't have to move it for you. No, this is the definitive list. Like, this is getting published on BuzzFeed for generations. After we know all this. Okay. Well, that's fine. This is Shang-Chi, which came out. Don't worry, we'll get to Multiverse of Madness. I don't know. It has some good stuff. The ending's really bad. It's one of those movies where nothing is offensively bad or terrible about it. But you just go, oh, this? Really? Like, the beginning's kind of fine. You're learning about who they are and kind of the history. Blah, blah, blah. By the way, this is Cap's theme. It's really awesome. Here's the key about Shang-Chi. I think, ironically, the thing that cut it for me, that, like, it probably should be a few spots higher, but what really hurt it for me is the middle fight scene, which is, I don't want to say a ripoff, that's not the right term, but it's clearly heavily inspired by the first fight from Rush Hour 2, which is fighting on the bamboo construction structure on the outside of a skyscraper. The problem is, when you're watching Shang-Chi, like, it just feels kind of emotionless, like, oh no, they're doing the tricky thing on the bamboo, but it doesn't really matter. But then like you go watch Rush Hour 2, and it's like that's actually Jackie Chan jumping between like these poles and like grabbing onto stuff, and it feels so real. And when I watched the movie, I instantly thought of that scene from Rush Hour 2, and it made kind of the whole movie collapse because I went, this stuff has lost so much, not emotional pull, but like realism pull and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't have super strong feelings. The last battle was so boring. But it's fine. Yeah, we're gonna put it there. Were these all this year too? Oh my gosh. So let's see, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, that. Oh, there's 2 Thors in here. Why? All right, let's get these 3 Marvel shows out. I couldn't finish Moon Knight. First episode was good. It just really dragged on. I don't know. Put it there. If anyone has any strong feelings, let me know. We'll change it. Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel, whatever it is. I didn't even start watching it. But I haven't heard a thing about it from anyone other than, oh yeah, I think that did release. You loved Moon Knight. All right, we're getting there. You didn't like Moon Knight, and maybe it's because like I watched the last few episodes while I was like cooking and whatnot. It just wasn't gripping me. I don't know. If you really think, yeah, there's a little bit more coming up. I think that's fine. But I will say I do think it's better. Or sorry, yeah, we have to finish with Miss Marvel or whatever it is. I just haven't heard anything about it. I'm not kidding. I learned it was a thing when I watched like the Marvel intro for one of the movies, and it was, oh wait, who's that they showed like in the Marvel logo? Is that Miss Marvel? What? Oh, the action. You see, I think Marvel's action, it's just so kind of, it's just played out. There isn't much more they can do, which is why they need strong characterization at this point. So I'm putting Miss Marvel down here, which may be a little unfair, but it felt like Disney released the show to die. And it's like if Disney has no faith in it to even let me know that it came out, I don't have high hopes for it. Now, they did really push She-Hulk, and I'm going to put that here because I only watched the first episode. And it was, I'm going to watch more, but then I saw the tweaking Shulk. I called her Shulk. I saw the tweaking She-Hulk. That became a meme, and I went, I don't want to see this. Because it was already kind of pushing my luck, and I don't know, we're putting it there. If you have strong feelings, let me know. Because I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so now we got Doctor Strange, Thor, Wakanda, Quantumania. And also, I'm just going to do this here. I had to look this up too. It's a one-shot, kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. It's called like a werewolf and whatever, and that came out last year, and it's Marvel. I had no idea. Sorry. I guess it's also kind of the same thing with the Guardians of the Galaxy special. I only heard about it through like other people going, oh yo, did you watch that yet? Like no ads or anything for it. I don't know. Maybe what it probably is YouTube just knows, or has just decided not to show me advertisements for any of this stuff. Although I do get a bunch of Disney Plus stuff. I get that one with Steve Martin where he's like, we've got something ahead, or we've got a big deal ahead of it. And I don't even know what the show's for, but I see that one all the time. Anyway, so these are the last 4. So here's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with this. Okay. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? I'll listen to this. I just know... Or here, I want to hear your opinion. You give me your opinion, because I already have kind of a formed opinion. But but you're clearly very passionate about Multiverse of Madness. What did you say in Doc Howard? Is that what the tier you said? Yeah, that is what you said. I'm waiting. Magneto's theme. I've never played Marvel vs. Capcom 3 significantly. Yeah. So here's the thing. I think we may be on the same page. Multiverse of Madness has got slammed online, and I think it's not, I don't want to say entirely fair. I think a lot of the stuff in the movie is kind of bland and boring. Because again, when you get beyond kind of that specific villain, like to attack a hero, it's really hard. The things I liked about this, though, very heavy horror themes, which were really interesting, something we haven't seen in the MCU before. And again, fan service, like we went back with Spider-Man. Fan service isn't an excuse for like a bad movie otherwise, but that middle section, it was really fun to see. To see with the Illuminati and everything there. It actually was really fun to see, even though it's not a good story and there's not really any character development or growth involved with it. It was just a cool scene, and it's like, you know what? That's better than what a lot of these other shows have. So, yeah, actually, the more I think about it, did she die? I don't remember her dying. Yeah. It's like, now that you think about it, I felt like they just showed like another reality where it's like, okay, well, if you take those kids and those kids didn't grow up with their mother, and then she just kind of cried and then stopped. Maybe I'm right. Yeah. Again, these last like 3-4 years of movies, they're just one and dones. I have no interest to go back to them again, even though they can be good. Okay, let's just ask it this. Would I rather watch Iron Man 2? Yeah, that's the thing. I would way rather watch this more than Iron Man 2. Yeah, I'm going to put it here. Top of Sentinel tier. I think that's fine. It's just kind of, no, decently enjoyable, but no, whatever. Thor, Love and Thunder. I don't know, like right there. Dude, don't you dare. Again, I think Thor, Love and Thunder has gotten, with the exception of one other movie, which we'll get to, there's many left. move that mouse. Move it down. The problem is, as I'm looking at this, I would rather watch Thor again than Hulk or WandaVision. And I feel like Love and Thunder is clearly better than Thor: The Dark World, even though it's not significantly better. Because you have to realize that we're basically... Like, remember how upset we were with how bad Black Widow was? This is only like 3 movies higher. It's not that high. I don't put that much stock in like the CGI and stuff. So I don't know which scene you're talking about. There's like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 scenes you could think about. I just think about this is the prime example of someone that doesn't know how to write comedy, trying to write comedy. This was, hey, I'm Taika Waititi. I can make Guardians of the Galaxy just as good as James Gunn did. All right, do it. You can't do it. Don't, stop trying. And there's a... Yeah, I'm going to move it down one more. No, I'm going to put it back here because I stand by this. The first 10 minutes or so are good when the Guardians of the Galaxy are on the scene. Am I wrong? The Guardians of the Galaxy, like, you can tell James Gunn wrote those, and then everything else was left to die. Like that scene where it's... where Star-Lord's like, look, Thor, I think the important thing is just look at the eyes of the people that love you. And, like, Thor leans in, and then, like, Star-Lord leans out even further so he doesn't see Thor. And it's like, the Guardians are... It's like, look, it's a 10-minute really good part with a bunch of, I don't care. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still bad, but should we move these down? I don't know. I think this is the right tier. Would you rather watch WandaVision or Thor? Love and Thunder. I have a hard time imagining people say, no, I'd rather watch WandaVision. Here, I'm going to swap them just because the more I'm thinking about it, yeah, I do think WandaVision's more iconic, like, interesting visually and thematically and whatnot. But I do think it's better than Thor. You don't believe this. Alright, there you all go. You won. Okay, what about Hulk? Huh? The original Hulk or Thor, huh? What about that? Yeah, but here's the thing. I've rewatched Thor, but only the Guardians of the Galaxy part. Okay, you'll leave it. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So yeah, full-on spoilers if you haven't seen these two, by the way. Which this one's on Disney Plus, so maybe you have. But get ready, spoiler time. I don't know. I'm gonna put it here. Right behind Shang-Chi. Oh gosh. No, it's... if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. The movie... And so here's the thing. The movie is actually like a super or an awesome tier, given the circumstance of, like, hey, the studio's making you make a Black Panther movie, but Black Panther died in real life, and you're not going to recast him. It's actually amazing what they came up with. There's just a lot of decisions that, again, kind of break... They just make the movie feel... not incomplete. Wrong, maybe? Yeah, because there's a few things. Because, like, the big climatic battle, for example, it's supposed to be two nations, like, two actual nations, like, hundreds of thousands of people going to war, and yet we only see maybe, like, 100 people versus 100 people, and, like, this is the epic war that the countries have built up for. And then also there's... he's fine. He's not, like, anywhere close to a Loki or anything. But Black Panther, it's a very somber movie because they're kind of sad the whole time about, like, oh, T'Challa's gone and everything. But the problems are the war between Wakanda and Atlantis or whatever it's called. It's supposed to be like a war, and like they're pumping it up to be like this great big thing, and it's very low scale. And the way things turn out, it's really unsatisfying. But I think probably the biggest problem is this is the movie where the heroes are saved by coincidence every time. Oh, hey, we need to fight this war on the ocean. Well, good thing we built a ship designed exactly to go fight a bunch of mermaid people out in the ocean. Oh, we just had that ready, even though we're not a country that's on the ocean. Yeah, we had that. Oh, perfect. Or, oh, hey, there's a girl at MIT that made an Iron Man suit and the world's best vibranium thing just in her spare time. And it's like, wait, what? Just this happens, and then you have to go kidnap her, and then, oh man, there's just a lot. The movie's just coincidence, where if if you've ever looked at it, Pixar, they've released it, but they have like 10 principles of movies. That makes a good movie story great. And one of the principles is your heroes can get in trouble because of coincidence, but they can't get out of it because of coincidence. And this movie is just, oh, we put our heroes in trouble. Oh, well, there's a coincidence and they got out. Oh, we put our heroes in trouble. Oh, there's a coincidence they got out. Also, it doesn't help that the Atlanteans, I don't know if that's the right term. They look like the Na'vi, and then Avatar 2 came out like 6 weeks later, and you're like, no man, the Na'vi are better than these Atlanteans. Oh, like the I'm actually, as I'm thinking about this movie, I'm like, oh yeah, they had Na'vi in the movie too, but Way of Water had way better Na'vi than Black Panther did. So I don't know. I feel like that's appropriate. We could go up and down either way. Ant-Man Quantumania, it's on the mind. I just watched it this last week. Oh gosh. Man. Here's the problem. So I'm just looking at this, and I liked it better than Wakanda Forever, and I liked it better than Shang-Chi. Mid-set. So that's the problem. But then I'm like, but is it better than Ant-Man and the Wasp? That's the issue. Is it better than Ant-Man and the Wasp? I'm gonna say, oh, they're so close. It's so hard. Quantumania. I at least think that the stakes and the villain and everything felt a little better. Like more interesting. Yeah, I think this is probably right. Yeah, that's the thing. The villain's interesting. A lot of the other stuff isn't that interesting. Bill Murray's in it, which that's always a plus. We got they got Bill Murray to show up for one day. They got everything done. That's awesome. But again, this felt like someone trying to make the movie really funny. Kind of like the Guardian stuff we were talking about, except not as bad as like Thor: Love and Thunder was really forced. And I think that was actually a blessing because it allowed the hard and whatever characters to to come out more. Again, a lot of that coincidence stuff that we talked about earlier. We're like, oh, now Cassie is Ant-Woman 3. Cool. We didn't have that there. Or the fact that in all of the previous movies, whenever Ant-Man's there, they've been like very clear, yeah, we don't have like tons of Pym particles just to be throwing around. And here they're just throwing them around like, la, da, 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 it's infinite. Throw the Pym part, make things shrink, make them grow. It's really kind of crazy. I'm gonna move. Oh gosh. So yes, Kang's interesting. Okay, but we're judging the movies off of themselves, not necessarily what the foundation they're building for other stuff is. Because Eternals built a lot, but that movie was terrible. You won't argue. That's coming up. Here's what I think a good explanation of my issues with Quantumania. So again, spoilers. Figure y'all know that. But MODOK is in this movie. Again, MODOK, which was kind of an impossible character to do in the MCU, just because he's a floating giant head and realistically shouldn't be in the movie. Or it'd be in an MCU movie just because he's so outlandish and everything. They actually found a way that makes sense that you could have MODOK in the movie. The problem is they kind of ruined his character, where he's not like this crazy, maniacal science dude, and he's just like, hey, yeah, I'm MODOK. You believe me? Isn't that pretty cool? And that's kind of, I think, the best description of this movie. It really just needed like another year to make the script perfect. Because none of the concepts in here are bad. They're just done very blandly. Like, they're done very outliney. Like, oh, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. The jokes haven't been focus tested. Things haven't been come through. But yeah. I think that's good. All right. And then we have a few other things. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, it isn't even out yet. I don't know why it's here. Spoilers. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I'm gonna put it right here. Again, I'm a sucker for anything Christmas, and this has kind of that wit. In fact, should I put it up here? I kind of want to put it up here. It's my list, and no one's saying anything to the contrary, so I'm going to do it. Up here, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Christmas, I'm always a sucker for it. It has that really awesome song at the beginning. Here, should I pause the music? Oh, okay. Santa Claus, a furry freak with epic superpowers. He sneaks into every human house in under 40 hours. Actually, here. I'm going to sing this for you. Get ready. Here's my singing. Oh, my camera's like a little messed up. I'm probably just moving around. Out on the third planet closest to the sun, there's a special celebration and it sounds quite fun. A jolly old fella brings toys to everyone on a holiday they call Christmas. Now I'm not gonna lie, it makes no sense to me, but here's what Earthlings told me about this Christmas mystery. Ding, ding, ding. Santa is a furry freak with epic superpowers. He flies to every human home in under 14 hours. He's a master burglar, a pro at picking locks. If you don't leave milk and cookies out, he will put dung in your socks. If you act nicely through the night and don't jump on your bed, Santa comes with sugar plums and hurls them at your head. But if you're on his naughty list, he shoots missiles at your toes. He might just roast your chestnuts with his powerful flamethrower. I am Groot! Rain, 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 rain. Dear, 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 I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here. Oh man, no, I love that song. Anyway. Yeah. You don't want to rant. All right. That's fine. I mean, I don't know, it's a special. It's like 20 minutes long. I don't know. I'm going to put it down here in awesome. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All right, so let's go over this. So Avengers, then Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Captain America Winter Soldier, Spider-Man No Way Home, Iron Man. I feel like Iron Man should drop down. Does everyone... Am I crazy? Oh, the super tab? Sorry. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's Avengers, Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier, Spider-Man No Way Home, Iron Man. I feel like that's pretty good. I just think Iron Man should probably come down. Like, the only one I could maybe hear an argument for is switching these two, but I don't even think you should. I really think the first Avengers should be number 1. Yeah, I think Iron Man 1 should drop down. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of nitpicky. I'm leaving it there. I'll probably be more humble here. Yeah, so here we got Iron Man. I'm just saying this in case you can't see very well on your screens. But we have Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Civil War, Endgame, Homecoming, Loki, Black Panther, First Avenger, and Ragnarok. Yeah, they do, but it's... Oh, man. It's funny they talk about... Because I watched it recently, and they talk about, like, oh, hey, I had them make a uniform for you, Captain America. Oh, does that have the Stars and Stripes? Oh, yeah, it does. Are the Stars and Stripes a little bit old-fashioned? I think people could use a little old-fashioned right now. It's... No, I like it. I'm thinking of dropping Ragnarok just to make everything even. You agree with that? I think so too, just so it's visually clean, even if we don't agree about the tiers necessarily. But like, I'm looking at this, I can't think of anything where it's like, oh no, this, like, oh, Black Panther needs to be way higher. Like, you could be nitpicky, but like, I can't see any of these nits that really deserve being picked, right? I'll give you all like 10 more seconds. Yeah. I don't know. This seems about right. How many are in these rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We go to the bad tier. So Ragnarok, Far From Home, Age of Ultron, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, Thor, Plain Doctor Strange, Iron Man 3. Wait, the original Doctor Strange? Or Multiverse of Madness? Which Doctor Strange are you feeling shade at? Doctor Strange 1? Alright, where do you think it should go? I don't think I'm throwing that much shade at it. Because, like, I'm looking at it, like, sure, I could maybe put it in front of Ant-Man, for example. But, like, I wouldn't put it above, like, an Age of Ultron or a Far From Home. Did you just not like Ant-Man? Ant-Man 1's funny. I don't know. And it's hard because, like, I don't think Doctor Strange really relates here, but, like, okay, let me think about it. No, these two should switch. Sure, you tell me what. I'm down for it. Yeah, this is probably what I would do. As I'm looking at it more. I don't know. I just think Thor is better than Doctor Strange. Wait, above Thor, behind Ant-Man. Well, I guess I kind of did that. I moved Ant-Man down 2 tiers. Yeah, I think I like the idea of Ant-Man more than I like actual Ant-Man. Moving down here... Again, just to say it out loud, Multiverse of Madness, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, or Iron Man 2, Ant-Man 3, Shang-Chi. What is this? Oh, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, WandaVision, Thor: Love and Thunder, Hulk. I just don't like it visually. So here's the question. Should a Hulk come down here? Or should Multiverse of Madness go up one? I'm feeling Multiverse of Madness going up one. I just like it visually better this way. Do you think I'm wrong? Oh, by the way, we got to put this other Thor down here. I don't know why it's there. Like, the thing is, if we had multiple ones that were going to be a second line, I would leave it. I don't think moving just one is that big of a deal. Yeah, I'm leaning towards this. It's fine. Whatever. Duck. Howard. Howard the Duck. Thor. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put Moon Knight above these two. And that's more so just to say how angry I was with these. And you know what? You've convinced me. Captain Marvel, I'm going to put above because Samuel L. Jackson was at least cool. Black Widow, here's the thing. I remember we bought it on that Disney Plus, whatever, and they started playing that really bad version of Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I went, oh no, what is this? What is this? This is bad. This can't be good. And yeah, the whole movie wasn't good. But yeah, we'll leave those. And then fast. I'm going to make it fast forward. I think it just makes more sense. Fast. Wait, does it not fit? Okay, we're just going to do fast forward. Oh, that's why I deleted the F. Yeah. I don't know. I like this. Is Grumble Cork still here? Doesn't look like it. That's fine. I'm happy with this. I don't know. We could do nitpicks, and maybe coming back like a year from now might be better. Because I watched the movie. That's why. No, that's okay. I'll go over it briefly again. The issues with Black Widow were, and yeah, some of the complaints are going to boil down to, well, it was unnecessary. But it was just kind of bland, the whole movie, which is fine. I mean, that's what Captain Marvel was, and that's kind of what Thor: The Dark World was. The issue was I could not stand the last 20 minutes when they're in that flying fortress, and here's the two things. First one is the toy maker, whatever his name is, he's like, I've got a pheromone that'll make you listen to me, and he releases that. And then Black Widow goes like, oh no, bangs her head on the table to break her nose. Now it's like, no, I can't smell the pheromones. You can't control me. And then like she fights her way out and then just goes like, okay, now my nose is pretty again. It doesn't look broken or swollen or anything. And then they just jump off this giant flying fortress without a parachute and they just live. I was laughing at how bad the ending to this movie was. And it's not like it was spectacular the way through. It just felt like, hey, let's make Scarlett Johansson happy. She'll make this and then make whatever that other movie was. But yeah. I don't know. Those are my basic thoughts. Oh, man. It's amazing. I always thought Thor: The Dark World would be like the worst movie forever. And now like there's Captain Marvel and Black Widow and I can't decide which one I like worse. Maybe I need to watch both of them side by side. Yeah, at least Captain Marvel has Samuel L. Jackson, who's pretty cool, and it has 90s nostalgia, so they're fan service, that's why. All right. Well, hey, I'm glad you had a lot of fun. I appreciate it. The Red Star, what? I have to log it. All right, I'm not doing that. We're doing that later. By the way, Chromo Court, I'm just going to let you know We're gonna be ending the stream really soon. This is just like a personal thing. I saw a tweet that I guess Disney is already down to like a short list of 3 to 4 finalists to be the next CEO. Are you ready for this? Get ready. 2 of them were kind of like, oh, the heads of merchandise and head of party or whatever. People, kind of typical. I don't remember. Third one was from some other company. I don't remember. The fourth one is Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is on this short list. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it's like, oh boy, I don't know. I feel like Iger, his time has come and gone, and Adam Silver's run the NBA very similar to how I think Iger would have run the NBA if he was there. So if you don't like Iger and you're kind of like, I want his ideas to go, that might be bad. Well, I think it's 2 things. The NBA it's more so a like a TV broadcasting deal. So it's all entertainment, but also a lot of that is kind of logistical and the stadium experience, which I guess kind of is parks related. But it would really just be, hey, because the commissioner is a really hard job of a sports franchise, because essentially you have like 32 owners, and they tell you what to do, and you take all the bad PR, and you have to spin everything, and then like go to the Players Association, get them to agree, and it's you're just kind of the fall guy for like all the other stuff. So the owners, they want something to happen, but they won't say it publicly. You have to go say it publicly, and you get your nose all dirty. Anyway, LeBros? Do you mean LeBron? Anyway. But yeah, I don't remember the other people. It was just late at night. It was, oh no. I don't think Adam Silver's run the NBA well. I'll give you a 60 seconds reason why. The previous commissioner was very anti-player empowerment. He was very like, you have to be clean cut. Like you have to come in kind of like a suit and tie or polo to the arena and stuff like that. Adam Silver has been very pro-player, where he's like, yeah, you can come in and anything you want. Doesn't really matter. Very pro-player on just a lot of the social media and stuff. He's been very pro, hey, let's let people watch the games for free. Like on YouTube, it's like Dallas and Phoenix played today. Around noon tomorrow, they're going to have the whole game on YouTube for free, but it's just the scoring plays. No commercials, no nothing. So, like if someone takes a shot, you're going to get the 10 seconds before the shot, boom, and then move on to the next play. So there's a lot of people that like, they watch the games basically for free, and they only watch the fun parts. They don't have to watch the commercials or anything. And anyway, I feel like the NBA is kind of in a down straight. And also, like they keep all these projections like we're gonna have infinite growth, but it's like this may be, they're getting a cable deal next year, and that may be the last cable deal, because these deals last 6 to 7 years. There may not be cable in 2030. Anyway, but he's very adamant, like, no, we're going to have perpetual growth, and they don't have a replacement if the cable model goes away. So that is in a lot of trouble, and it's not all Adam Silver's fault, but I don't think he's done the best at kind of being like, look, we'd love to give you all more money and more accommodations, whatever, but you have to give us stuff back, as we physically don't have infinite money growth. And the player empowerment's gotten worse. Just players can now demand trades, and basically owners have to do it because the players have so much power. I don't think he is. But then again, I don't know who would be. Yeah, it's, and that's the thing. If you want to pay like for NBA League Pass, people are going to be really surprised when it's like, wait, it's like $25 a month. It's like, well, yeah, that's what you're paying for cable. But the big thing about cable is you have like your grandma who doesn't watch it. She's the one paying for ESPN because it all comes bundled, and 10 of the dollars are going to ESPN from her, even though she never watches it. Well, that's the other thing I didn't get. Okay, we're gonna get into it, I guess. So when Disney bought Fox, part of the deal was they couldn't keep the Fox Sports stuff because that was seen as monopolistic. So they sold that off to Bally Sports. And Fox Sports wasn't like ESPN, it's like one, like there's ESPN, ESPN2, there's like 4 or 5 channels. Fox Sports does have a few like national channels, but 80% of the programming, it's for regional stuff. So it's like, oh, it's your local basketball game and football game, and it's just what the local sports are in the arena. So if you're in California, you're going to get all the Southern California teams. If you're in Arizona, you'll get that. If you're in Miami, you'll get all the Miami teams, or New York. So there's like 30 to 40 different regional networks. But anyway, Bali Midway, which is a gambling company, bought like 20 of those regional networks, and they just declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy like 2 weeks ago, which means they're, the NBA is not going to get all the money from that because of stuff. So, yeah. And that's partially why everyone's like, why do you think you're going to get a cable deal when, you only have like 4 people or, 4 to 5 people that even want your product anyway. And now one of them's going bankrupt. What makes you think you're going to have so much growth? Anyway, but yeah, it's a lot. Like the Lakers get something like $80 million a year just for the local broadcast rights or something. It's a huge number just for the Los Angeles market. Anyway, but yeah, it's going to be whack. So anyway, this stream started later than I thought. I was mentally thinking it's like 6:37, but I think it was closer to like 7:30 when I started. Yeah. Anyway, and that 30 minutes makes a really big difference. So I'm going to head off. Hope you all sleep well. Be good. And don't forget, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Where's it going to go on this tier list? Yeah, share this list with your friends. Go make this really big. Okay. See y'all later. Wait, how do I end? Oh, yeah, here it is.